How is Justice Haynes doing, and do you expect to have him back this weekend?
Good. He was better yesterday, so we'll see as the week goes, but feel good about it.
And then Mikey Keene was one of the guys that traveled. Is
Yeah.
he like full go in terms of was he available, and could he vie for that number 2 spot at some point?
Yeah, he's healthy. He feels really good, so we'll see how that goes throughout the year and what we want to do in this situation.
Stay in the lap with Isaiah.
Program's long been kind of known for having the fundamentals, and obviously there were tackling issues. How have you seen that kind of progress, and like how do you fix that?
Yeah, I mean, you go back to last week, thought tackling was outstanding, and one of the things we really hit on beginning of the week was speed and space. Tackling their speed and space. We didn't do a good job of that, and it really comes down to angles. The angles that we take, the pursuit angles that we take, and trusting those angles. There's so many examples as we go through it, and as we've gone through the tape, been through it many times of how we got to fix it, and players have been in numerous times already to look at it and fix it, and those are the big things we'll continue to attack as we go through the week.
On the left, John.
Is there a bigger message for this team after a tough one going into the back half of the season?
Can you say that again?
Is there a bigger message from you to this team going into the back half of this season?
I mean, I think the message is pretty simple. Like, the guys understand what happened. They understand it's a loss, and nobody's hurt more for a loss than the players and us, as coaches. So those guys they've been in here, they've been grinding, trying to get better. They're trying to fix all the problems and make sure it doesn't happen again. So the message really is simple. We got to go back to work. That's the reason I got the blue collar jacket on today. We got to go back to work right now. There's no pouting. There's no worrying about it. There's no making excuses for it. That's all we got to do, and that's all I know, and that's what we're going to do right now.
Over on the right here, Dennis.
Sherrone, after looking at the tape and everything, what are you guys kicking yourself the most about after seeing everything Saturday?
Yeah, I think defensively, exactly what I said, tackling. It was just, that we're much better than we played. We're much better than we are. But credit to them, like I said, that just no excuses. They played good. They executed. Then offensively, finishing drives. You have the first drive was 3 and out, and then the second drive you go 12 plays and you don't score. Against a team like that, you got to go score. You can't get in 3rd and 4 and then get a penalty and push it back in 3rd and long and have a sack. So it's just the big moments. You got to execute the little details, and that's what those big games come down to.
Is that with the opening drives? What's your view? You guys have had struggles on the opening drives this year.
Yeah, just got to continue to execute those little things in those moments.
Right here, Aaron.
After the Oklahoma loss, you guys assessed kind of the offensive line. You changed maybe a little bit how you approach Bryce. What were the changes that are going to come out of this loss?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is continue to look at what you're doing, how you're doing. I thought we did a good job of putting people in position, moving guys around, but we got to continue to do that. Continue to challenge the O-line, continue to challenge everybody in the rooms. It's not just one position, right? It's everybody. So we'll all do it together and fix it.
Right here, Tony.
Yeah, tight end's obviously been a staple here for years, but it feels like they haven't been as involved in recent weeks. Is that just sort of how the game has come out, and what do you guys need to do in order to get them more involved?
Yeah, I think that was kind of how the game went. Wasn't really on purpose. Obviously Andrew Marsh played a big role, and McCulley had a big touchdown, so those things happened, and obviously with the running back. So we'll continue to get those guys involved as we go through the season.
And then Bryce, now halfway through the regular season of his freshman year, what have you liked most about what he's done, and where are you still hoping to see progression in the back half?
Yeah, poise, his playmaking ability, you see that flash. You continue to see him get better and better. Put a little bit more on him this week in terms of RPOs and things that he was doing, and he did a good job making those decisions, and he'll continue to do that. So, but just those little decisions, like even on that, that 3rd down and 9, don't take the sack. It keeps you in field goal range, and the interception, just an ill-advised throw he doesn't need to make. So those things will come, and again, it's his 6th game, but we'll continue to help him and push him, and he'll continue to push himself to make it better.
Right here, Ryan.
How has Mikey Keene kind of handled this season so far? Obviously an experienced guy coming in, but then injured, battling through injury, and then now hasn't really gotten much of an opportunity, at least in games so far.
He's been great. I mean, he's like a coach around there, so he's been outstanding. Love having Mikey around, love his attitude, love the way he works. I mean, he goes on scout team, and he just does his part. He controls the offense. He controls so he does everything he can to help the team. So he's been outstanding.
Back right, Andrew.
What is the concern level about to face a Washington team whose quarterback, can run and throw the way Williams can?
Yeah, I mean, when you're facing a team like that, you gotta be ready. He's dangerous. He's dangerous running the ball. He's dangerous throwing the ball. He's dangerous when it's a scrambled play. So we got to do a great job containing him and making him uncomfortable in whatever facet we decide to do that in. That's going to be the key to stopping, winning the game, and then obviously stopping the run with the running back because he's dangerous and he can make you miss. He can run you over. So it's going to have a concerted effort to hone those two in and win the game.
On the left, Chris.
Seems like all your goals are still in front of you. Do you tell that to those guys, and have they heard that message?
Yeah, they have. I mean, right after the game, the biggest thing is, you look at everybody in their eyes and they're looking right at you. They're focused. Everybody's disappointed. In a loss, that's what happens. You're disappointed about what happened. So our job now is to not worry about every other thing in front of us. It's really just to worry about today and then tomorrow, because you look at college football, you never know what's going to happen. There's wins, there's losses. You don't know who, so you can't predict it. So all we got to do is just get better today and then figure out how to win this game and then move on from there.
Back left, Alejandro.
A lot of talk about the depth on the defense. Do you feel like you found your best 11 out there, and how do you balance the rotation versus having your best 11?
Yeah, I think we have. I think there's a good depth, but the 11th becomes 12 and 13. When you get guys like Rod Moore back and you're moving Jay Sean around and you're putting Jimmy Roller because Cole Sullivan's one of those with Ernie. So there's a good balance to moving everybody around and putting them in. But I think we've got a good plan how to handle that going forward.
In the back here, Angelique.
Sherrone, in terms of punting, is there anything you can do to fix this? Seems like it's been problematic.
Yeah, it's just been a little inconsistent. And we got to continue to challenge Hudson because in practice it's 50-yarders, 4 or 5 hangs, 4 or 9 hangs, and then in games it's just been inconsistent. So continue to challenge him, just like we do any other position.
In terms of going forward, you've talked a lot about execution being an issue, but do you self-scout and the coaching staff, and what can you all do differently going forward?
Oh yeah, we self-scout every week. So whether it's alignments, pressures, whatever it is, everything's self-scouted every week. So we make sure that whether you have a tendency, whether you want to keep creating it or play into that tendency, there's something that we do every week to make sure we self-scout that. So we'll continue to do that as we go through the season.
Over on the right here, Aaron.
On that note, hindsight's obviously 2020. Do you feel like we were too aggressive defensively Saturday against USC?
I mean, you could say that, but then you look at the week before, we're pretty stout, and I think there's not. I mean, you could say that, but then you go back to games like Alabama. I think it was the same pressure percentage that we had against them, against a quarterback that was pretty dangerous. So it's really all about doing your job, right angles, and then the good mesh of both. So I don't think that was really the case. I think we just got to execute.
Ryan.
Well, where have you seen this offense evolve from the start of the year, and where do you think it can still continue to grow?
Yeah, I think obviously you've seen some playmakers evolve. I think you've seen some guys really step up that you hadn't seen in the beginning of the year. Don McCulley's really stepped up. Andrew Marsh obviously is a true freshman making plays, and we've seen what Justice Haynes can do. So I think just continuing to put guys in position to make plays and then involving the tight ends like we're going to keep everybody off balance and continue to make the offense better.
Got time for a few more if you guys have Isaiah.
Jordan Marshall, how do you feel like he did instead of Justice?
Yeah, he did good. I thought he ran hard, ran physical, made plays when they were needed, did a great job in pass protection. So continue to just take the next load and be the next guy up.
In the back, Angelique.
Sherrone, everybody talks about halftime adjustments, but how easy is it to adjust during a game? Like, can you do it in real time?
Yeah, you can. I think what the ability to use the iPads now is something that you have that we didn't have before that you can use. So I think, yeah, you can adjust in real time, but you got to adjust and then they adjust and you adjust and they adjust. So it's a constant chess match of adjusting throughout the game. So we got to continue to do that and do that within the game and do that before the game.
Over on the right, Austin.
Obviously, you'd like to have a clean pocket every time, but how do you feel like Bryce has done when it's not a perfect pocket and knowing when to step up, when to run, when to buy some time, all that?
I think overall pretty well. Even though sometimes he took the sacks are always better than throwing, turnover. So I think there's times where you want him to step up in the pocket, make those plays, but he's also made some really really good plays in the pocket and moved around and made some plays down the field that you didn't think he would make. So I thought he's done a good job with that, and we'll just keep progressing with it.
And then when the throws aren't accurate, is it just mechanics? Is it footwork? Is there like a common?
Yeah, usually accuracy starts from the ground up, starts with your footwork. So I mean, really in football in general, really it all starts with your feet, and then no difference with the quarterback. So it's all about his footwork.
On the left, Clayton.
You said ill-advised throw, but was it pass interference on Donovan McCulley, and then also the first touchdown for USC? Was that OPI? Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses or stuff that wasn't called or should be called. Those decisions, I had my words on the field with the referees. You probably saw. So, but the calls were made or they weren't made, and that's the game of football. So it's happened where we probably get a call, but. Things like that happen, and we got to do a good job of going to execute the plays when they're there. And I'm not going to sit here and make excuses and do anything of that nature. So we just got to go make the plays.
Angelique.
Sherrone, you talked about Andrew Marsh in the bye. What popped out during the bye, and what has he shown you since then?
Yeah, just consistency. It started in the bye week. He just continued to make plays, kind of like he was doing in fall camp, but did it more consistent. Aligned exactly in the right place, knew where to go, was able to make those plays, competitive plays through the bye week, and has obviously done that as we've gone through these past couple games. So he'll continue to get the chance to do that.
Ryan.
I know it's very common for teams to defer when they win the coin toss, but can you ever envision a scenario where you guys would want the ball to open the game?
Yeah, possibly, but most times defer.
Alejandro.
You guys have had a few weeks of Jay Sean at edge primarily at this point. Do you feel like he's picked up that role well, or is there any consideration of moving him back? Or
yeah, I think he has. Just got to continue like everybody else to continue to do your part, and I think the whole defense continually to make sure we're doing our job in every situation. That'll help us tremendously. But yeah, absolutely, I think he's been a game wrecker and a game changer at that position. We got to continue to evolve him just like any other position.
All right, last question with Tony.
How are I'm sure it was a long flight home, but how are the vibes today, and how do you make sure that what happened last year does not happen again?
Yeah, I mean, the vibes today, the guys are disappointed, but 24 hours from the game, we'll attack the problems, not the people. We'll fix it, and we'll move on, because we can't let this game beat us twice. We got to go play a really good football team. So we got to fix those problems and move on ASAP to go win this game on Saturday.